Rebellions are built on hope.
I'm not sure I can do this.
Welcome to the rebellion.
Welcome to the I'm a effing rebellion. We're here back with another episode of Radio Rebellion Star Wars podcast. I'm your host, Alberto Calderon. My co-host Oti is back, and our special guest for this week. It's been a while, but Andres Alvarez from Sithty Minutes is joining us. How are you guys doing today? Andres, I'll start with you. How are you doing today?
Oh man, I'm doing great. I'm just living the dream. It's been lovely weather in Colorado, so we're not.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we're not drowning in heat or snow or rain or, insert here.
Yeah. And well, we're down here in Florida. Apart from being Florida, we had a big drought, and then it's been raining for the past 2 days. It's going to keep going for foreseeable future. So it's not lovely over here. But Alti, how is it over there where you are? And how are you, most importantly?
Alberto, you live in Florida. You don't have to say it's not lovely over here. We all know. I just want to use my turn to say A, I'm sick, and B, we have to find a word for what Alberto just did. It wasn't a rage quit. It was more like a rage start the show. So just putting it out there.
Right, sorry.
That's inside baseball. We can't talk about it.
We had a little discussion before we started. Our heads were in different places. Not about Andor, I think.
Doctor Who.
Not this episode, this week, because I haven't watched it yet. So we'll see. But thank you everyone for joining us. If you're watching live, thank you for being here. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Dale, how you doing? Welcome to our show.
I'm not sure
Dale.
I can do this. Buddy, strap in. We're doing this.
Yeah, we're doing it. Like
literally, welcome to Radio Rebellion. In parentheses.
It is. Like this show, episode, thumbs up. Comment down below if you're listening later on the replay, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any new episodes when they drop. And if you're listening to the audio podcast later on, thank you also, and give us a 5-star rating and review, and give us your comments on all our social media, on all that stuff. All right, Ote, you'll be proud of me. I went to the movie theaters. I saw Thunderbolts. I didn't have to wait too long, so I watched
Wait,
it.
no. Let's call it by its actual name, as the marketing department has ruined for everyone.
Thunderbolts, it's that name. You can't call it.
You can't call it that. It is now the New Avengers. Just like Pope Leo. We can't call him Mr. Was it Robert Provost or whatever?
No more.
Pro something.
Yeah. But dude, I went with my daughter, 2 tickets, 1 popcorn and 2 sodas, $60. $64. Yes.
$64.
Was it the special popcorn at least? Like, did you get the special tub?
Popcorn. It wasn't
did it make you high or something?
It wasn't the RPX that they do in Regal, the IMAX. None of that. Just regular matinee. Because I went at 11 in the morning.
$60 matinee? No, thank you. We used to be a country.
I'm pretty sure if I add up the receipt for my last 3 theater visits, including concessions, I don't get to $64. I'm pretty sure.
No,
dude, it was almost $16 for my ticket as a matinee adult. I know. I was going to do RPX.
$16 for a mat? What?
Yeah, dude. It's
chaos. See, that is one habit that I'm grateful that the pandemic kind of like broke me off of. Like, I think we literally, since 2020, our family has only gone to the movie theaters like once or twice a year.
Yeah.
Because, just 2 drinks, a popcorn. I mean, literally, like you mentioned, Alberto, like you can very quickly get to the cost of like a PS4 game, and it's like a 2-hour movie, and then you go back home and choose your streaming channel of choice. Like Dune Part 2 showed up on, I think we saw it on Hulu or something. Like you don't even need a super crazy streaming service to see some of these movies like a month or 2 after they go out of theater. So it's like, I don't know.
I'm still shocked with that. Like, I think the thing I'm going to miss the most about Puerto Rico is how cheap the movie theater is in comparison to the States. Because like,
dude, I'm dreading when the new Jurassic World movie comes out because my son wants to go see that one. And my daughter's going to go because she loves just going to the theater. So that means my wife is going. So it's going to be 4 of us. So it's gonna be over $100 for a movie that I don't even know if it's gonna be good. We might spend 2 hours on a crap and just shell out $100. I'm like, this is why I don't go. I'm sorry that the movie theater business is going out, but it's impossible almost.
Florida man saving for new Jurassic World movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a freaking.
That will be a headline. Just watch. I mean, because that's $100. That's like a steakhouse date night, and it's like for stale popcorn and like, I mean, I do love a good Fanta. So like a large Fanta, like maybe that's like $20 of that experience. But like, nah.
Yeah, it's hard. So now you know why. Anyway, do you guys watch Tales on the Underworld? We won't cover it today. We'll do another episode after Andor finishes. But
I watched the Asajj episodes.
Okay.
I haven't watched them yet.
Well, then I've seen them all, and all I will say is I love the Cad Bane ones. I did not expect. I don't want to spoil OT that much, but I did not expect the way that they were going to go with it. Oh, okay. Well, I'm with the headphones off. I didn't expect him to have such a dweeb name. I'm like, that's so great that like his entire arc is just like, he's a dork.
All right, you're fine. It wasn't that big, I think. We'll talk about it after Andor finishes its run. We'll make an episode about it, and then I finish Into the Light. So one more book for the High Republic, and then we're done. And I'm scared. I'll do a review for that one also at some point soon. But anyway, I know why people are here and what we're here, which is to talk Star Wars. And if you guys are ready, I'm not ready. Let's talk Star Wars and Star Wars on TV.
I am not your failure, Obi-Wan.
Star Wars on TV.
The revolution starts now.
Now, let's go. Andor, Season 2. Arc 3, where it's 2 years before the Battle of Yavin. Everyone's been going nuts even before this started. I mean, before it got released, everyone that was able to watch these episodes earlier, the whole week they were saying this is our favorite. Guys, be ready. You don't know what you're gonna be watching. This is the best thing through scenes inside your favorite movie here. And okay, it lived up to the expectation, but at the same time, like, dude, just chill. You don't need to put all this extra pressure. I'm happy that you saw it. Maybe I'm a little bit jealous. Just calm down. Don't give me so much hype for it. Let me just watch it and then say all your things you've been hiding for 2 months. But
this is the best Star Wars since the previous Andor arc.
The previous arc.
Yeah. It's just people having like, imagine the best food ever, and then like they're having a second bite of it, and like, no. Now the ribeye is better. It's like it was a ribeye the whole time, my guy. Like, it's gonna be okay. You can watch it again. Like, it's not going anywhere. It's there forever. Just enjoy it.
Yeah. Thing with that.
Go ahead. I just want to say I get it. Like, imagine having watched this and not being able to talk about it. Like, not having anyone to be like, "Yo, that was crazy."
Man. I'm thinking.
By the way, that's kind of how I feel about The Last of Us, because no one I know played The Last of Us, so I've been like sitting with all this information for all these years, and it's finally like,
It's another great episode last week.
Oh, it was.
So I did watch that one. But for Andor, even if they came out and said, "Oh, psych, it was a prank," it's actually 9 episodes, not 12, I'll be okay with it. Like, this goes straight into Rogue One perfectly. I can't even imagine what it's going to be for the next 3 to say, "Oh, when you watch Rogue One, it's completely different." I don't even know. So I'm so happy. I mean, happy is a weird word to say for these 3 episodes, but Andy, kind of starting with you, just before we start with this last arc, Andres, have you been enjoying the first 2 arcs of Andor, the series, or this season in general, before we go into this newest arc?
Yeah, I've been enjoying the show. I'm still kind of torn about how I feel about the 3 episodes coming out all at once, because that is something that I've been noticing as like more weeks go by. Like, I am grateful that the season technically ends next week, but like, it is rough when it drops, especially for us, like, that we're talking Star Wars, or like in our friend groups, we're probably the person that gets the text from our friends of like, should I watch it? Should I not? So like, there's this extra pressure of like, I need to watch these 3 episodes as soon as I can, even if it's not as soon as it drops. but I have been enjoying just getting to see that resolution of that arc of like, okay, first episode showing us the problem or the setup. The second episode is like progression. Some things get closed up, but then there's like that bigger problem. And then the third episode is just like, the third episode is always just like hype central. Like there's just so much that always happens in that third episode. So like, yeah, it's been fun. It's just been a little bit rough as a Star Wars like analyzer, like, you know, person that has to like wade into it and find deeper issues and stuff. Because yeah, there's just not a lot of time to process so much plot and so much conversation. And then be ready, you know, by Wednesday morning, by Thursday morning, to have like full reasoned out thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that we do this show like 4 or 5 days afterwards. So it gives me time to watch the episode multiple times, take all my notes, get all my thoughts straight. I mean, hats off to everyone that does this after the episodes drop the next day, Wednesday, Thursday, because it is a lot. And not just to sit there with your mouth open for 2 hours to have a conversation. It does take a lot out of it. But it's also a problem that we got ourselves into. It's hard to kind of blame. They decided to drop 3 episodes. And Tony Gilroy even came out and said, I'm sorry for all the podcasters out there have to deal with this, but sorry, this is the way we're going to go. But
as he should, by the way, he should not be thinking about us for this.
Yeah,
I don't care about it. So if you want to record 4 episodes about it, then that's on you. But I like that we get all 3 because I couldn't wait another week after the Ghorman Massacre. I have to wait a whole week for this. Ote, have you been enjoying the 3 drop and then the 1 year in between?
Before I go, I just want to say we have someone new on the chat. Darth Raccoonar?
Oh,
yeah, that's a raccoon. Us. Oh, that's a oh,
nice.
Wow. That's the coolest thing ever. Anyways, so welcome to the channel. I like the 3 episode release. As a person who likes to go to bed early, it doesn't really fit with my schedule, and as someone who does their show hours after the if not minutes after the episode releases, it sucks. And also it's 3 hours. I usually don't watch 3 hours of TV a day. Like I get home from work and 2 hours later I'm probably at bed. So yeah, it's been weird for me to not watch it immediately. But whatever. It's been good enough for me to just suck it up. And I have gotten spoiled on it quite a bit, by the way, which kind of sucks, but whatever.
Yeah, it's difficult. But I've kind of just, even though I hate spoilers, I know they're going to be out there. Like, unfortunately, it's nature of the beast at this moment. So if we go into social media, we got to expect this going to happen.
I'm just so self-centered that I think everyone is as tired as me and won't watch the whole thing at once.
Yeah, I just, especially in Star Wars fandom, because like, let's face it, we are one of the premier fandoms for like memes. So it's like it's very hard to watch a show that has 3 episodes drop at once and not get like I think even of the last arc with Saw, and there were so many memes about like, here's Luthen so concerned for Bix, and it's like, don't take drugs, they're bad for you. Meanwhile, like Saw's just in a random oil facility, like, yeah, you gotta huff the Rhino, boy. Like, so you know, that was my spoiler that I saw. I was like, oh, okay. So Saw's gonna go off the deep end as he does. Like,
inhale the Rhino, son.
Yeah, we're the Rhino, and I love her. So Arc 3, The Messenger or Messenger, who are you, and welcome to the Rebellion. If you've listened to our recap episode these last 2 weeks, we basically haven't gone episode by episode, but I think we'll do that for this arc at least. We'll jump back and forth. It's just part of how we do stuff. But let's start. And again, Dan Gilroy was the writer for these 3 episodes, giving some props, because everyone, of course, gives to Tony Gilroy for everything he's done, but some props to other people out there. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so we start in Yavin. Yavin is in full rebel mode, which I love. Looked more like Agent Claus with all the woods and forests. I also thought I was at the Ewok village for a moment in Andor, but nice to see a different part, I guess, of Yavin, already ready for battle. But do we see?
By the way, it's cool to see that people live there.
Yeah.
Because we've heard throughout the years, oh, Poe was born there. He was kind of raised there. So, like, to actually, we have never seen it. It's just been the station, like, for one movie.
Yeah, and they said, oh, we're gonna learn the history of Yavin. I don't know if we'll get more after this one. And I know people were just going all out with the Sith temples over there. It's like, okay, don't worry about it. We'll get a little force in this episode. We won't go that far. But there's a little rift now between Luthen, Cassian, everyone on Yavin. When Wilmot makes it back, it's been questioned basically. Where have you been? This is here. I want to know where you were before. And all that. Andres, seeing that kind of tension between Will, who's been gone for a while, and not wanting to tell Andor where he's been for the past couple of weeks or months, kind of starts building a little tension. Then it goes later in the episode when we see, I guess in that same conversation, that he doesn't trust Luthen the same way he did a couple of years before.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you're seeing Wilmot's being more secretive. I imagine he's also still doing more work with Saw. So like that's where I was also like latching onto of like, okay, he's probably driving deeper into that level of rebellion. And for me, every time I see Wilmot, I just think like something has to happen there, because we have to understand Andor, like the rebellion in Andor and Rogue One knows that they don't have a way to talk to Saw, right? Like Bodhi Rook ends up being captured by Saw's rebels and all that's going on. And they turn to Jin specifically because they, I think the quote is that like, we need someone that gets us in the door without getting blasted. So it's like either something's going to happen to Wilmot, or Wilmot is going to turn on, like whoever Wilmot is reporting to has to view Yavin 4 as such a big operational risk that it's just not worth talking to them anymore. And like you're starting to see that kind of shift, right? Where Andor's like, no, we're fighting the Empire, and Wilmot's like, sure you are, buddy. Like, anyways, let me know when you're ready to actually blow something up. But it's like, but Yavin is coming to life. Like they have call signs, they're getting shipments coming in, they have people like telling them to come land here or go there. So like it's getting there, and then like they have their stuff together, and it's starting to grow up. So yeah, I found that interesting of like they're definitely starting to show that rift, and like they both are convinced that they're fighting the rebellion, but they're not sure who's right or who's doing a better job at it, if you will.
Yeah, because Cassian is basically saying, hey, we're building something here. We need an army. We need to be more organized. And Wilmot said, oh, Luthen at least is doing something. All you're doing is planning. Like you're actually not doing anything. But Ote, do you see? I was surprised to see that Wilmot was back with Luthen. I thought he was going to be stuck with Saw Gerrera for the rest of it. So I was surprised that he went back. But when he comes back, hey, we need you to go murder Dedra, which is showing her face in Ghorman. I'm a bit surprised that we were at that point. We need you to assassinate in the broad daylight.
We were at that point. She's a psychopath.
I mean, he did say,
willing to kill a whole planet.
This is not about revenge. I think it is about revenge, but
again, it doesn't have to be about revenge. She's about to kill an entire planet. Like that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I also wouldn't be surprised if like, because we know from a few arcs prior that Luthen knew that Dedra was working on the access file and whatnot. And with everything heating up in Ghorman so much, I think Luthen is also like looking around the corner, and he's like, all right, whatever's going to happen in Ghorman, it's going to finish soon. And then knowing Dedra, she's like the dog that is trying to catch the car.
Yeah, she's going to go back to that.
Exactly. So like a part of me is like, is Luthen just trying to think 2 steps ahead? And he's like, while she's so busy with Ghorman, this could actually be the perfect time to like actually get rid of a competent ISB agent who has almost captured him, or gotten close. Like she's one of the few agents that can see the connections and like understands why he needs to be behind bars from the Empire's point of view.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Draven is back. So happy to see
Draven that's
there.
his name.
And I love that little conversation he had with Cassian. Like, dude, you can't just come and go as you please. This isn't a pleasure cruise or whatever. He says, well, the day you tell me I need to report where I'm going and all this stuff. I won't come back. In 2 years from now or a year from now, Draven's gonna tell him, forget what you heard in that meeting. If you see Galen, just kill him right there. And Cassian's like, no questions asked. Okay. So it's to see where that relationship will go in 1 year, year and a half. It's kind of interesting, but you like seeing him back, Oti.
I mean, I forgot his name completely. So I was like, hey, look, Rogue One guy.
Oh,
but yeah, it's cool that that's the promise of the season, right? Like it's gonna tie directly into Rogue One. So starting to like put that around, and again, that same interaction that was interesting, having Cassian, that relationship being different. Cassian being like, I mean, yeah, you need me more than I need you, so like I'm gonna do whatever I want. To like, oh, ignore orders and do what's I know it's wrong. Okay, I'll do it. So again, it probably has to do a lot with the aftermath of Biggs leaving and what that's gonna do to him. So
yeah,
that's fair.
Andres, you like seeing that little connection when he showed up and looking at everything on Yavin, like where's Chopper? I'm missing something in the background. There has to be some Easter eggs here. There's nothing else, I think. But
yeah, I think Draven was like the the highest ranking or like the coolest guy. If we're viewing Yavin as like a high school, like he is the jock on campus. I also find it interesting that he's like requiring, like, kind of, how the Empire's doing like loyalty oaths, and Cyril mentioned that Cormans are having to do that just to keep their jobs. Like, I found Draven to be the rebel version of that, where he's like, everyone needs a reason to come, they need a reason to leave, they need a reason to like land a ship wherever they're going to land it. Like he's trying to get the rebellion into this space of we're running an army. This isn't just like random people with ships.
Time's over, son.
Yeah, like he's really trying to like come down on the rebellion. Which for me, I love Draven in Rogue One specifically because by the time he launches the operation on Edu, you can tell that a lot of the other rebel leaders are kind of sick of his shtick. Like one of my favorite line deliveries in Rogue One is some other rebel leader just being like, "Oh, General Draven already blew up an Imperial base." And it's layered with so much like this guy, he's just running around doing whatever he wants. So you're starting to see that because he's just writing everybody of like, no, this has to be done right, and I know the way that it needs to be done. So like, it was nice to see him, but I'm like, okay, I can see why people get sick of you in 2 years of like, we get it, guy. We have to fight a war.
He's back.
But it starts building that hierarchy inside Yavin, because when Vale shows up to talk with Biggs, she's like, right, they're getting ready to promote him. Draven, though Donna got a name drop, they're getting ready to promote him, but he can't be pulling this stuff or just going and doing his own stuff. We've cut ourselves from Luthen and all his. They're free from Luthen. I think what she tells Biggs is like, he needs to be here to help build this rebellion, I guess. But cool scenes inside Yavin.
By the way, Buck is in the shot. Hey, Buck.
Hey, Buck. Shirts on a little.
Oh, I should have brought a better Star Wars shirt, but
just go change, right?
I know, right? But hey, no worries. I have some Star Wars Unlimited cards.
Oh, there you go.
I got a shiny Poe Dameron. And then the Colossus for all my resistance.
Resistance. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Paul Dameron, of all the people doing an Andor Season 2 Q&A, Oscar Isaac was doing an Andor Season Q&A about 2 days ago. Whatever.
Wow. Okay.
Or he got Q&A. The Ray movie question.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just can't wait for someone to like show like freeze a frame from this arc that shows like a baby in the background. It's like, that's Poe. Like y'all didn't know, but there he is, little baby Poe.
Star Wars thing. There's probably a book about it right now. And Cassian Andor walked past him. I was trying to stop Biggs from leaving.
I think that's in a comic, by the way.
There you go. It's already there. So we got a little bit of mysticism of the Force inside Andor with this Force healer that shows up out of nowhere. Cassian is hurt. Biggs is trying to help him out. Takes him to this cook that we learn later.
Yes.
But basically, what I love about this again, connecting to Rogue One and to Jedha, that will go. I think in the next arc we'll see Jedha. But big thing about Jedha is this: all the Force religions are there, and different people's view of the Force. And this Force healer kind of fits right there. So I like that it connects to Star Wars, connects to Rogue One without being a full-on Jedi that just survived for the 66. Maybe she did, and then she's now a cook.
I heard a lot of people had a very similar reaction to what I had, which was like, oh right, the Force. This is Star Wars.
I feel like the story group told Tony Gilroy, like, you have to have one Force
we are
person.
begging you, Tony Gilroy. You need to.
We had
like,
the Kyber Crystal in the first season that didn't play into it, and now we have the Force healer. So that's how
right.
we connect it.
That's right. But I do love the idea of, like, she's kind of like, it's not, Gilroy's not leaning too much into it. There's that comment about, like, that Andor makes it like Marva basically shoot off the last Force healer that came near the family.
Yeah.
I love that exchange. My mom hated Force healers. Marva hated a Force healer like 10 years ago.
It's like they're all the same, which is very Latino coded.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just like brujeria. Like, no, we don't need that in our lives.
So yeah, they're in a perfect place in the middle of the jungle. You got a little bit of witchcraft there. It makes sense.
Yeah,
but it then kind of refers to him as a messenger, that he's kind of taking in everyone's problems and guilt or anything, just kind of building towards something. And then, messenger, he helps deliver the message in Rogue One. So I don't know, it's a fun thing to add to Andor that kind of doesn't run with the show, but feels 100% Star Wars original trilogy vibe. Even the design, the clothes she was wearing, the way the lighting was kind of placed in that scene, it felt like, oh wait, I'm watching something from 77 to 83. So it was a cool scene.
Yeah, I agree.
Right, Oti, any new comments in the chat before we move to... You don't need to read everything. I'm sure Buck has like 20 comments there.
Doc said something about shiny Poe Dameron.
Oh yes, my shiny hollow Poe.
Oh.
It's a foil Poe.
So
yeah.
Cass Dameron and Shara Bay sitting in a tree. KISSING.
All right, so let's talk now about the Senate, some of the Senate scenes and how they connect to what's happening in Ghorman in this first episode. I love how the Senate now has basically turned into the TSA. They have metal detectors if you want to go in. Everything's shut down. The Ghorman representative. I love that discussion, that conversation he had with Mon Mothma, basically thanking her for everything she's done and put her head on the line, her neck on the line, which I think is the first time she's heard from anyone that is in Luthen or anyone that's in the rebellion, kind of thanking her for everything that she's been doing for the past 3 or 4 years, even more, I guess, since the end of Revenge of the Sith. I think that took her kind of a little bit by surprise, but I love that someone at least acknowledged, hey, thank you for everything you've been doing. Sorry we didn't believe you a year ago, but thank you. So
yeah, or like you can tell, because the conversation starts with Mon and this senator or ambassador. Like, they also make it clear that he's not like a full-blown senator. So like Ghorman has lost some of its political power in this year. And, kind of noting that, this is the point of no return, like things are getting worse. The ambassador makes a comment about they're not even bothering to lie badly about what's going on or what they're doing anymore. So yeah, it was like a very, like, it was nice to hear that. And another part of me was like, this guy's probably like kicking himself at night because like she asked for his help in the last arc to like try and push back in the Senate, and he's just like, no, like that's the last thing we want to do right now. We don't want to make the Emperor mad. And like, here we are opening up on this arc, and it's like, all right, here was this guy trying to like toe the line and keep his head down for his people, and it's not getting better. Like, congratulations, you played yourself kind of energy. So yeah, it was also like just kind of sad in that way of like he's thanking her, but he knows that he could have probably done more. No, if he had known that the end result was still going to be that the Empire was going to take more power and kind of humiliate the Ghormans even more, even as he's trying to get them to like stay calm and play by the rules and everything else.
Yeah. I think when we go to Ghorman, everything has changed in this last year. There's checkpoints to go in and out of the plaza, even to go into the hotel. You need to check in with someone. Reporters are over there reporting on all the terrorist attacks and the bombing that are happening, all these terrorists from Ghorman. And then we go to the Ghorman front, and there's some infighting. Some people want to just, hey, peaceful protest. We got to keep doing what we're doing. And others are like, we've tried this. It's not working. We got to go full on.
Which is, by the way, a lot of what actually happens with these groups. They agree on what they want to achieve, but they don't agree on how they want to achieve it. And you have some of them who are accelerationists who are like, let's try to slap them and see if they kill one of us, and that way he's a martyr or they're a martyr, and the rest of the galaxy will sympathize and everyone will wake up. And there's the ones who are, no, the way we do this is by just constantly applying pressure. And who's wrong? Yeah. I mean, yeah, but history has shown that maybe both are wrong, or maybe a little bit of both are right. So, that was interesting, and just seeing how it all just completely escalated from just we're just hanging out here to like, no, we control everything now.
Yeah, we'll keep talking about the Empire in a minute, but also something we've been seeing through the whole season. It's the different pockets of rebel fighters out there. Like you had the Maya Pei brigade that didn't know what the hell was going on. The Ghorman front wanting to start but not really knowing how to. Saw Gerrera just going nuts. But now inside the Ghorman front, which is again fighting for the same goal, two different versions of how to go through it. And then connecting to the representative or the ambassador, it's, yeah, we need to do something, but if we do too much, it's going to come harder on us. And that's why I love Rylance, kind of the leader of the Ghorman front. They're to, hey, no, we got a peaceful resistance. It's a way we need to keep going, because I think it's going to go bad for us. He later in the episode and in the second episode kind of figures out like, no, this is what they've been planning for so long. But we got two new additions to the front. The hotel clerk has joined the front. And then Lacine, I think his name is, the guy that first was fighting, kind of doing the little arm grab, kind of caused Cinta to be shot accidentally. It's
his fault.
Yeah.
Right? That's my wife. Like, what the hell is he doing here? She's
I'll never forgive him.
He's there now, kind of leading everything.
Kind of responsible. It's all on him.
And then he grabs her, takes her to the truck, and then now joins them. It's kind of not leading, but kind of pushing part of it. But I love what he says here. And says, hey, we are the Gorg, and we can't, I don't care if we put rose petals down or if we go in guns blazing, we can't let them change who we are, because then we're lost. If we let them take that away from us, what's worth saving? And then this place, and I'm jumping now to episode 8, when he's the one that starts doing the Ghorman national anthem. It's like, no, we gotta keep to who we are, Siko. We can't let all these people kind of incite us to what's going on. But I love that we have two new additions, especially the hotel employee. I love that he's there.
Yeah, especially because his dad had died in the Tarkin massacre. So it's like he made that comment to Andor in the last arc of just like, oh, I didn't go too far. And now here he is, like now he's an adult, and things are getting worse in Ghorman, and he still hasn't gone far from kind of where his father physically was. So yeah, there's a lot of symbolism in there, and just that feeling of like he is owning that rebellious or that like Ghorman spirit of just like, no, this is my planet, these are my people, like we're in it together kind of thing.
So last week, when they mentioned, oh yeah, Target was here, he parked his ship on top of 500 people. I'm like, Jesus Christ, how can a massacre be worse than the? Is that the massacre? They kill 500 people, and then no, it's gonna get worse. But we get now to Dedra's over there. She's on Ghorman. She's talking with Partagaz, and Partagaz like, okay, like we've done our part. The Emperor's done waiting. So we're going to go with the original plan. And yeah, the fleet is 48 hours away, so get ready. And we have a crisis specialist coming in, Captain Kaido. Okay, when I heard they had a fleet coming in, I got scared. I'm like, oh no, this is going to be bad.
Yeah.
It was
Hey,
pretty
but
bad.
I think that's the thing with this arc. What makes it so interesting? Like we knew what was gonna happen. We knew
Yeah.
we didn't know exactly how it was gonna play out, but we knew that the Ghorman Massacre is what causes Mon Mothma to leave the Senate and the, publicly announce the rebellion and the civil war for, and I love episode 8 because it's just like a guitar string, just slowly stringing. You know it's gonna break, but you don't know when, and you don't know in what note it's gonna break. So, I don't know what the original question is, but that's my answer.
So it's Dedra there. Partagaz basically saying, hey, we're ready. You did your part. We're ready to move forward. Poor Cyril. Andres can't even get through the door before being stopped. Dedra's not giving him information. She's like, oh, outside agitators. So that's why I'm here. You sent me to find outside agitators, and now you can't give me one little tidbit of what's going on.
Yeah.
And then she gives him a big kiss, and he kind of forgets about it because that's the woman of his dreams, which in a couple of hours is gonna
go buy yourself something nice, sweetie.
Yeah. Go watch a Star Wars. But yeah, it's Cyril. You start kind of feeling conflicted about because like he thought he was doing one thing. We knew he was getting played like a fiddle, but like the acting here really sells that like Cyril can't understand what is actually happening. Like he can't bring himself to believe that he's been played, that like there is a bigger play here. And like once the Empire roots out these nasty rebels, then like Ghorman can go back to making fabrics and whatever. It's like he really bought into it. And I think even the father, right, because he's walking around the streets and Cyril bumps into him after he's done talking to Dedra, and he's just like, you can still believe the words coming out of your mouth. Like you're so bought into the propaganda that you can't imagine that you're being played. There has to be a noble empire somewhere out there. And the Ghormans just understand that the Empire is going to do whatever it wants. And Cyril just can't believe that the Empire is evil. Like he's not willing to cross that bridge because his lover works for the Empire and he always wanted to be in the ISB and like, power and respect. So like it's kind of heartbreaking to see it in the sense that you're watching someone in full-blown denial. And it's like, no, the leopards are eating the faces, man. Like you have a front row seat and you still can't admit it. So yeah.
I was a bit surprised when right after he kind of has that conversation with Dedra, then he goes and finds Mira. I think I messing up the name, that girl that went for the Ghorman front. And he's like, hey, I think we can still kind of find a way to play around. And she's like, dude, shut the fuck up. And just slaps him across the face. Like, get away from me. And nothing to do with you. And he's like, oh crap, I'm kind of messed up on both sides. Like, can't do anything with the Empire, right? I can't help the people of Ghorman because I've kind of played them without knowing. So
it's kind of super poetic, by the way. Like the one thing, the bridges he burned are the bridges that could have gotten him out of the situation. And he burned them because of the situation. So it's all sorts of fucked up.
Or like he thought that Dedra was always going to bring him into the inner circle, right? Like even when he was in that meeting with her and Partagaz, right, where he's like giving intel reports and kind of acting all like, oh, I'm an important part of this mission. It's like, you don't realize you're just a tool, man. Like they're literally just using you. And he just thought he was going to get a nice shiny ISB uniform and become like Director Krennic's note taker or something after this. And it's like, nah, man, we just needed you to start a riot. Thank you for your service. Now go back to the Bureau of Standards or whatever.
Oh, it's like fuel purity. Go check fuel
Yes.
purity, you dumb guy. But just, and I know we've been seeing Imperials for all of it, but just seeing stormtroopers inside Ghorman kind of just made it feel real. And say, oh, this is Star Wars. And at this point, stormtroopers are pretty scary. So like, oh crap, like they're getting ready to actually go down. It's not just some ISB people just walking up and down the streets. It's actual stormtroopers are there. And then this takes us to episode 8. Who are you? Let's just go. It's like, Ote, like you mentioned, it's the guitar string getting twisted, tighten it a little bit since it begins. And the music through the whole season of this arc was great, but keeping with the Imperials a little bit, it feels like Dedra at the same time it's realizing that she's getting played also by Partagaz and everyone. And every time she gets agitated, he's like, calm your nerves, like respect. Like you can't just, I wrote it down somewhere. Oh, control your, you seem animated. Like, you're about to kill everyone and you seem animated. She has to kind of straighten everything out, but
what?
No, go ahead.
Dedra is such a fascinating character. She is evil, but I think she has a heart somewhere in there that is desperate to like puke out of her and be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
But she won't let it, and I think it's eating her alive, and I think it's gonna make her an even worse person. Like the one character I want to know where they are next arc, it's her. What is she doing? Like, what did this do to her?
I mean, we see at the end of this episode, she's trembling, she's shaking. She needs to take a moment to kind of compose herself, kind of straighten her jacket and everything. It's like she knows that what just happened is wrong. And we haven't seen that from her. It's like she's been this cool character, always frowning, all constipated or whatever. And it's, well, just see thousands of people getting destroyed. It will kind of take its toll. But we know there's mining rigs over there. The Empire loves mining and just blaming everything on mining disaster.
Yeah, and she's like trying to, like hedge her bets with Partagaz, where it's like, oh, does Krennic want the rumor of this mining equipment running around? Like, that's not very Empire of us. And Partagaz is like, don't worry about that. No one cares anymore. It's happening. She's like, the rebels might have weapons, and he's like, I'm counting on it. So it's like, she's almost, kind of becoming like Cyril too, where it's like, this could go bad, guys. And Partagaz and everyone else around her is just like, duh. Even Captain Kaido, right? Like, he's like, all the troops you gave me are like children. They're young. They don't know what to do. And like all the other officers are like, you can rot in Imperial jail if you don't want to do it. And like, they're all kind of like nervous because it's like, this isn't very Empire of us. We shouldn't be putting people in these situations. And then everybody who's above their pay grade is like, no, we want this to go bad.
I don't think Lord Vader would agree that what we're doing is correct. Vader's morals are very important.
Right. The HR department is not pleased with what's happening on Ghorman.
They're setting up barricades. The news keeps running reports that there's rumors about protesters running around, very similar to, I don't know, daily life. But it keeps building up creating this scenario when the people of Ghorman are just creating havoc, are a bunch of terrorists ready to go at it. This Imperial propaganda has been working because they've been setting up for about a year now. And then every time there's an explosion, oh, no, there's another explosion, getting ready. Everything's powder keg, like they love to say. And we're there. We're ready to see what happens. So Cassian arrives. Wilmot has a girlfriend all of a sudden. He just joined the Ghorman front.
Busy man.
He's a busy man. Teaching Saul how to steal fuel, not dying from it, bringing Cassian. I think he's the one that's been pushing the Ghorman front to be more active because he's the one that makes bombs, spend too much time with Saw Gerrera. I think he's the one that was not pushing them, but kind of training them on how to move forward. now we're here. And Cassian goes, he goes to the hotel to check in. The guy's like, okay, you gotta carry your bags. Kind of, okay, we're in the same thing. Hey, he dropped the line. He said the thing out of nowhere. Reveals are built on hope. I loved it because I wasn't expecting. It came from the least character you think was gonna mention it.
Yeah.
Out of the blue, and I think it worked perfectly. We didn't need to see the origin of this sentence, but it came out, and I loved it.
I love the story of why it ended up there. Like Tony Gilroy saying that his son is a Star Wars fan, and me like, where did Cassian hear that from? And Tony Gilroy being like, I don't know, and his son being like, well, you better figure it out.
Which is funny. At the same time, I thought Cassian just came up with it, which also works for Rogue One, but no. Everything needs to have a story about.
I think that adds that unique Star Wars flavor where it's like, you know, there's always like some stupid story or like background where it's like, if you really look at Star Wars a little too closely, it starts becoming like a comedy thing. And like this creates a backstory that's just like, where's that line from? It's got to be Luthen or someone's like, it was a bellhop. Like it was a Tuesday. Things got worse that day, and like he just kind of spit it out, and Andor was like, "Oh, I'm keeping that one." Like, you know, you could tell once he got back to Yavin 4, he was just in his little notebook, like, "Rebellions are built on hope." Oh my god,
dude,
what a banger!
Like that word, like Wizard that came out once in the Phantom Menace, and then the history of these words from the High Republic, because one character came out with Wizard. Because Star Wars, like you mentioned, we gotta find the origin of stupid stuff. To make it more relevant.
30 years later.
Yeah. Exactly. That's why we love it, because it's so dumb. Again, Andor is not a dumb show, but it has these kind of dumb things inside that we can make fun of and find.
Yeah. I just love that it's from a bellhop, and because then that also like adds weight to like Jin, to everyone else who's like, what can I do? I'm just insert whatever. Like Jin's just an Imperial prisoner at the start of Rogue One, and like here's Andor like believing of like, look what a bellhop could do. Look what I did. I was just a kid from Canary, and like I just made the wrong move and accidentally killed someone on Morlana 1, 5 years ago. So yeah, we can all do this. So like, yeah, it's serious, and at the same time, when it came from the bellhop, I'm like, weird, man. Like that's like checking in at like like a Motel 8, and someone just like drops all this wisdom on you, and you're like, dang, man, you were just I just came for the continental breakfast, but I'm leaving with so much more. Like,
and it's
I actually had a very similar experience to this.
Okay, here we go.
Dude, when I was when I did my exchange trip in Spain, I remember when we went to Porto in Portugal, we stayed at this hostel. That's what they're called. And it was empty, like, so we slept in a room for 18, but it was just me and my roommates. And we would stay up at night, like super late, talking to the owner, who was a British man that lived there. And he was just like talking about life, talking about history, the history of Europe, the history of the world. And it was fascinating. So, yeah, those things happen, apparently.
Yeah.
You never know.
We never learned his name. We just called him Sir William, just because he was a
British
guy.
Well, Sir William's 20 years later. I don't know how long ago. 10 years later.
I saw the hostel close last time I went to Portugal, but I hope he's okay somewhere.
You're part of our show now, so it lives on. Your stories live on here.
The episode of Doctor Who ties to this beautifully, actually.
I gotta say it. I would think it was gonna tie to the Christmas special when he stays in the hotel for a year.
Nope.
Separate show. So the Ghormans, their plaza is open. They think that things are happening. They finally open their plaza. Let's go march. And Cassian's like, no, they're setting up barricades. Don't come over here. Things are gonna get hot. And no, everyone's going over there. Very similar to Ferrix when they're getting ready for Marva's funeral, kind of marching against the Imperial orders. But here they want them there. Like the Imperials want them to go over there. Freaking skipping, but gotta love this show. Gotta love Star Wars. How they can just bring in some random Imperial for one episode, and it's already a classic. Because this Captain Kylo is gonna live on. We're gonna get a book that he'll show up at some point. We'll learn how he got his scar in the middle of his face. I love now that we have so many new Imperials that we can love and hate. But everyone's going, they start chanting, "We are the Gore, the galaxy is watching." And then that's when Andres, like you mentioned, Ryland says, "No, this is a trap. This is what they want. They want us to fight back so they can kill us." And I can't remember the line that he said, but something about, "We'll be sorry when we're there," or something like that. He tells the lady. And then that's when he runs into Cyril, and they have the discussion. "How dare you show your face? How dare you think that there's still a way out? You played us for how long? You bastard, what are you doing here?" Get a love. I forget the name of that French actor. It's been great the whole series, and that little exchange just over the top.
That's the moment when the Cyril's mask starts to completely shatter. Like he has no answer to him. Like he's just like,
yeah. He didn't even know what was in the ground, right? He's like, what do they want that's underneath that's on our very feet? And Cyril's like, I think that's the moment where like mentally he snaps, because he's just like, I thought I was looking for outside agitators, and even the Ghormans are like, we've seen the mining equipment, like the gig is up. We know that what they really want is to get rid of us and then pick up whatever's underneath our feet, but we don't know what's underneath our feet. So like he's asking Cyril, thinking he's the deep inside Imperial man, and even Cyril's like, I don't know actually.
Yeah, I mean, what do you want? What do you want from us? So basically this is where everyone's in the plaza. They're just chanting, "We are the Gore, the galaxy is watching." And then Lessing kind of looks around, see that people are just getting too agitated and everything's firing up, that he starts to sing their anthem. It's a beautiful song that he sings, trying to calm everyone and bring it back to, hey, we're doing this for us. We're not trying to agitate them in terms of that we're not the villains. Like, we're doing this to survive, to save our planet, save our people, and start a great song. But here, Otti, this is basically when the massacre is going to start.
Yep.
When he goes, Kaido goes, "Hey, go out there. That monument, you need to protect it. But we don't know what we're doing. You want to spend the rest of the day in a prison, an Imperial brig? Go out there and do what I say." Oh, crap. Yeah. And at that point, some stupid kid that's never held a blaster in his life is going to accidentally pull the trigger. It went a little bit different, but this is where it's going to start.
For me, those kind of situations are so frustrating, because those situations are so obviously dangerous. Yeah. Like everyone is nervous, and when there's a lot of people together and a lot of people are nervous, someone is going to do something stupid, and that something stupid is going to get a lot of people killed. In this case, it's different because like it's being purposely done just so something stupid happens. But I think I'm just talking to the real world people. Like, I just hate those situations. But yeah, dude, and Cyril's reaction to everything, like going into the building and being like, going to Dedra and being like, "You're gonna tell me everything right now," and Dedra being like, "Oh, here's everything." Like, I've never seen you like this.
I was just getting choked at that moment.
Yeah, no, that was super intense. I was like,
Andres, Cyril goes there trying to figure out what's going on. He gets pushed into this room with all the KX droids, which is, when I saw them, I went, oh no, they look scary. I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. But then he makes it to Dedra's office, and he's like, "I'm done with this. Don't tell me it's rumors. Tell me what's going on." And he goes to choke her.
Yeah. Which,
we expected.
It's funny because I remember back when the like the marketing images had come out, or like the little like sizzle reels, and they show a scene where like Dedra's like grabbing at her neck, and everyone just went to like force choke. Like, she's gonna try and do something, and Vader's gonna be like, no, we're here to get
real world domestic violence.
And it's like, no, the answer was Cyril is just gonna forcefully put himself on her and choke her out the I hate to say the good old fashioned way, but I guess like analog choking.
And physical choking.
Yeah, just good old physical violence.
We don't condone any violence out there. No, we're just trying to make a point of.
Yeah, just no fancy magic or anything, just straight up. I just I think it also scares Dedra because, like, I mean, obviously it scares Dedra because she just like hears everything. But it was also an interesting moment because I know there's been interviews where people talk about Dedra being like, yes, she's a woman, but she's still in this really aggressive, hyper masculine like system. And to see the power shift so suddenly between the two of them to a point that Dedra's only reaction is to just like give up the game and be like, yeah, we need something in the ground. Here it is. Which Partagaz warns her a year before, like he can't ever know what's actually happening. Was just like a really like brutal reminder of just like, yeah, she is the ISB officer in the room, but like at any point the Empire is built on this system of if you have access to the most violence or the most power in that moment, you actually get to make the rules in that room. And she told everyone to get out of the room, like to close the door, so presumably no one else hears that, because I assume it's like a soundproof mission control kind of situation. But yeah, it was just a really rough scene to watch. And
I mean, she also does that because she thinks she's the one who's going to be putting him in his place. And all of a sudden, the only relationship in her life where she has always been in control, in absolute total control, flips around and she has no power in that moment. It was great. And I love seeing Cyril's anger because he's basically telling her, you're either telling me you're too stupid to see what's actually happening, or you think I'm so stupid that I don't see what's going on, which it's fucking happening in the real world.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, if you tell me again it's rumors or whatever, I'll throw you out the window. Like, I'm done playing this game. But it also shows how someone like Cyril, that we've joked for 2 seasons now, is just some dweeb out there, can just flip, just turn a switch and it goes completely nuts, which happens every single day, unfortunately. As we can see out there, it's like, how many times we see on the news when, we're talking to the neighbor, I never expected this person to do this, that, or whatever. It's like everyone unfortunately has that little switch, and to come from him. But at the same time, when Dedra tells him everything, then she's like, we'll be together back in Coruscant. It's what we wanted. I didn't see you complain about the promotions and all that. It's like she tried to flip it back on him. It's like, I'm done. I can't keep playing this game. And then just walks out.
I loved his reaction. Just be like, good luck, Dedra, I'm leaving.
I'm still thinking maybe he'll turn to the rebellion or he'll leave.
Nah, that was never in the cards for him.
Yeah, no, I do love that they threw that one out right afterwards. Like, they give you just enough hope, and then like, then everything kind of starts going down, and then they're like, no, like Cyril is not. This is not the Cyril Rebellion show. Like,
he's not gonna be behind the scenes in Yavin being like mission control, like how's that one?
It's that one in New Hope with that little thing when the ship is leaving in the tower.
He's like, yeah, that is a rebel ship. Okay, yeah, I can confirm it.
Yeah.
And by the way, something I love that it's a question I had with him from the very beginning. I think it was apparent, but like as things start to change and he gets more involved, I continue to question, like, was he a true believer or was he not? And the answer is like he was. He really believed the Empire was a force of good. And that's why getting out of it was so hard for him. And that's why it only happened at the last second when it was just blatantly obvious that it was all a lie.
Yeah.
And I wonder also for someone like Dedra, when does that moment come? In death? Or
We'll see. 3 more episodes.
Probably it came when the Empire was not really like moving heaven and earth to find her boyfriend, because they even tell her like, he's in the crowd now, like we don't know, and she's like, we have to find him, and she's talking to other Imperial agents like, no, he's an asset, like we need to find him, and like no one moves.
He's amazing in bed. You don't get it.
We have to keep the lights off. You don't understand.
With the lights on, it'll be too much even for me to deal with. But they're closing down the plaza. The stormtroopers are basically pushing everyone into this fishbowl to get shot at. And then the massacre starts. They tell the sniper, okay, you're free to go.
Yeah. There's a great tiny little moment there when they get the order the captain hears the order, but looks at Dedra and goes like, "You have to say it.
Yeah.
Like, I need to hear you say it because this is how this freaking empire works. If one domino falls, it has to take down every single domino in its way."
What is it like? I'm the trigger, but you're the finger, or something like that.
Yeah, everything has to be a piece in the cog, and that's why when the empire ends, Palpatine's like, "Okay, everyone dies with me."
Yeah, and like showing, we get again, this show does a really good job at like showing you a lot instead of telling you, because we're seeing, the Ghorman national anthem is being sung at this time, so they're clearly like backing down from resorting to violence, and you're shown the sniper's like viewpoint, and like at first he's aiming at citizens and civilians, and then like as the order comes close, like he switches over to targeting Imperial troops. So it's like they're, like Partagaz mentioned, we're kind of banking on them to have weapons and to like overreact or something. At the end of the day, they're like the narrative is already cooked in. It's like it's baked in, they're ready to go. Like they're gonna start drilling no matter what. I picture there's like a foreman in like the Ghorman Valley that's like, I gotta start drilling at 1 p.m. one way or another. And then when the violence doesn't just naturally happen, they're like, that's fine, we'll just snipe one of our own, and like they're all teenagers in Imperial outfits, so then everything else will just kind of unfurl. And that was like another moment that I know in conversations with other Star Wars fans, a lot of us were like, is Andor going to accidentally start the massacre? Because then that makes
Saul was gonna Saul was gonna put a bomb somewhere to start it.
And it's like, no, it's the Empire was so hell-bent on like, no, we're gonna start drilling, and we're gonna start at noon or whatever, so this attack has to happen at 10:30 on the dot or whatever, so we can overreact. And when the Gors didn't do it, they're like, fine, we'll do it ourselves. Like, we don't care.
We're not paying overtime. We gotta start this on time.
That's right.
Gotta be home by 5.
Those contractor rates are crazy. What these subcontractors charge? No,
we are not paying union penalties. Start drilling.
Ote, do you think at any point Cassian might have shot Dedra? Every time she showed up on his scope, he was ready to.
I was actually hoping he would.
I thought he was gonna shoot and miss because something happened.
Okay.
Well, he never got a shot off.
Even though I love that character, I wanted him to shoot her. So I think it was just hopium more than anything.
Yeah, that's fair.
Then we have Cyril in the middle of this chaos and this massacre, basically not questioning his life choices, I guess, at that point. And sees that one person he's been chasing since day one. I think all the rage and everything, all the hate that he had for Dedra at that point, for all the lying, he just saw Cassian and said, okay, that's my single focus right now. It's like, finally, I found you. I'm going to end you. And again, he goes nuts, bashing his head against the floor. Great fight. Almost broke Cassian's back with that chair, whatever he hit him with. But
the fight was so good, I was like, oh, so they're going to kill Cassian. Okay.
They'll clone him for Rogue One. They have the technology.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it felt very much like if any of y'all have seen like Monday Night Raw or like any like WWF, WWE situation, because they're like throwing candy at each other, like they're using chairs, they're
pocket sand.
Yeah, like they're out here like pushing each other up against the wall, like a grenade goes off and like Cassian has to react to it. So yeah, it was a well done, that's been my biggest critique of shows that stick around the Skywalker saga with named characters, where it's like, where this person has to be at a certain point. So like that kind of a thrill goes away of like what's going to happen. But that fight I was like, man, Cyril is going to beat him within like an inch of his life. And like, I know he has to walk away from it, but that was a fight where I was genuinely concerned of like, is he going to break his leg or something and have to like hobble back to Yavin? But no, R.I.P. and bless up to Rylance. Like, what a way to go!
Yeah, like a boss.
Yeah, it's one of those things that a lot of times people say, "Oh, what's the stakes? We know what the ending is. There's no stakes." Like, no, there are plenty of stakes if you have a cool story to tell and cool storytellers to write it. Who are you? Right? Because Cassian has no idea who this guy that's beating the hell out of him. Who the hell he is, just beating
A
the crowd.
pathetic end to a pathetic life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
What a day for Cyril. He woke up that morning thinking that he was like one of the most in the know people on Ghorman, and his last moment is someone not even knowing his name that he is obsessed over.
Yeah.
Who are you? And I love how innocent that "who are you" is from Cassian, because it's kind of like you won for N Square. Who are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He put that gun down for half a second before Rylance ended him.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was going to say, but you know
Nothing.
who. Yeah, he was going to say nothing. You know who else said, "Who are you?" a long time ago?
Thanos?
Oh, wait, this is not what I want.
Also true.
Who did you say? Callus?
The Who?
Oh, no, this person. I'm going to show you something if I can find it. Where did I put my.
Tell me who are you?
Did I delete it? Maybe I did. I don't have it. I have it somewhere. Welcome. No.
Buck has
Anyway.
the best comment ever. I'm so happy Cyril is dead.
Yeah. And you know, Dedra agrees, but it's such a creep and a freak, and then in parentheses affectionately. Like she still thinks about him.
Buck says the Force healer said, "Who are you?"
Yeah, the Force healer said, "Okay, I'll find it," because a little bit. I'm gonna show this. I forgot.
Of people saying,
Is this a Rogue One?
Yeah.
Touch out
Sorry.
about? No, you're
Yeah.
good.
Well,
Jin said it.
Or no,
Jin
Krennic
said it.
ass.
I don't have it. I deleted it from my files. But yeah, when Jin is gonna kill him, or before when he walks into the platform, he goes, "Who are you?" And then she said, "I'm Bjorn Erso, daughter of Galen Erso." So a cool switch there for the good guy to be asking who he was.
Yeah. Also, just the confidence. Like when I rewatch that scene and think about Cyril being asked that, it's like Jin doesn't hesitate. She's like, "You know exactly who I am. I'm here to end this." And like Andor asks, and Cyril's like, "I don't
even know."
I was like, "Do I
don't
start
know.
with Morlana 1? Do I start with the Bureau of Standards?" Like, could you imagine if he was like, "I'm the fuel purity manager," and then like he shoots Andor?
Cassian's like, "What?"
With the whole thing, there's a future for people who dare. I mean, well, anyway, they send the KX droids out, and we had a full-on Terminator scene. God damn, that was scary.
That was
Throwing
terrifying.
people, just kicking those barriers out of the way, killing. I
That was
forget her
pretty
name.
funny though.
Meero.
Yeah, just when one of them just kicks the barrier, and it's like, you know, that human got like turned into a CGI ragdoll for the effect, but it was just like, that's why these people are terrified of them.
I mean,
it even makes the ones in Fallen Order look like kind of like pansies in comparison. It's like, oh no, they're just yeeting people.
I heard the original pitch Tony had for the meeting, and I'm still bummed we didn't get that because it's a horror movie. Basically, they're stuck on a ship with the KX droids, and they're just like wreaking havoc. And wow,
Oh no!
But whatever, this was super cool.
Yeah, still violent, still incredibly effective in terms of like.
Yeah,
I think all the shots of people just like being picked up and then just thrown, like you can tell the KX droids aren't even like using that much power or anything, but it's like that's just their normal.
Oh, Alberto left. Interesting.
Oh, it's our podcast now.
Okay,
we did it.
I don't know what his notes were. Did you like the introduction of K2SO in this way?
I thought it was pretty interesting. I wish there was a little more interaction between Andor and K2, but we do still have one full arc, so you know there's still plenty of banter that they can have. But
yeah, I was kind of bummed out we didn't get Alan to it. I mean, because at first it was going to be a 5-season thing, and he was going to be in it from the beginning. Then they changed it to 2 seasons. He was going to be in it in season 1. Then no, he's going to be in season 2. No, actually, he's only there for the last arc. And
yeah,
that's the story of K2SO in the show. But
I guess it's interesting that like every time Andor looks at K2 now, it was the droid that was 100% about to kill him if that random Ghorman guy didn't ram him into a wall. So it's like, okay.
It's also a reminder of one of the worst days of his life.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's a both and he's like, this is my best friend. He tried to murder me when I first met him.
But
you
then
wouldn't know it.
My girlfriend left me, and he was there for me, so that's why we're buddies now.
Oh my god!
For me, I'll be super honest with this. It kind of felt forced, like them meeting and him taking the droid. It kind of felt like, well, he has to end up with K2SO somehow, so this is what's gonna happen. Like, I don't think the show did anything for me to believe Cassian would see this droid cut in half and be like, yeah, I should take it. Like, because on one side you could be like, yeah, it's definitely like an asset for the rebellion, but he wants to leave. He is tired of fighting. So
yeah, that's true.
For me, it was a little bit weird. Like,
all right, I'm back. Thank you.
Hi.
Sorry about that.
I'm running the show now. We're talking about K2SO and how we feel about the introduction.
Was that I don't think he got introduced in episode 8. They lied to us. I don't count this as an introduction to the character.
I mean, it's literally the character introduction. It's just not a full episode.
Yeah,
it's not him.
Yeah, no, I'm in alignment with both of you where it's like, all right, I know it has to happen. It's kind of the same problem that we had with or what I feel we get with Revenge of the Sith, where like at a certain point you can tell that movie is like running to be like, okay, Padme has to die, it needs to be twins, this needs to happen, this needs to be an empire now, so like we're gonna throw that scene in there, and it's like, okay, like I get why we're needing to go there, but like let this breathe a little.
By the way, I would have been fine if an arc started and K2SO was there. And yeah, we met like 3 months ago and we're best friends now.
or pull a Mando and tell that story in flashbacks, right? Where like as things are happening, Andor could make a comment about like, oh, you mean like the last time blah 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 happened, and then like K2 just like has a memory flash from the reprogramming, and he.
But I think we might get that because we're gonna jump a year.
Maybe
things have happened, so we'll get him midway through the relationship.
And knowing Tony Gilroy, I wonder if they're gonna dive into like the trauma of being K2SO, being a force for good now, but being like, no, I killed hundreds of people.
Yeah, you know, there's at least one rebel soldier on Yavin 4 that is always having a jump scare when they turn around and K2's just like menacingly standing there, like, hello. It's like, please don't murder me. And it's like, oh, Cassian said I can't. And it's like, oh, because Cassian said so?
Yeah. Oh, man. So we had that ending when they meet. Wilmon leaves. He's got to go save his girlfriend over there, which can also, I guess, changes Cassian's mindset in terms of his relationship with Biggs when he goes back. He's like, no, I'm done. We got to leave this place. Like, he was able to find someone in the middle of this hellscape. So I gotta work with what I have. But also that scene when he goes and find them and they're just, hey, the Empire is killing everyone. Can anyone help us? Just getting everyone on the radio, just trying to get the message out. Pommel 1 is calling for aid, letting the galaxy know what happened. It's a pretty intense scene.
Yeah. It almost feels like a darker Last Jedi crate situation. Because like Andor's got his own things, you know, like he knows he's trying to get off the planet. We know as the viewers that there's just bigger priorities happening. And yet they're like, if no one comes to help us, like we are screwed. And you're hearing that audio message. And yeah, it's pretty rough.
Yeah. All right. From here, we jump to episode 9. Welcome to the Rebellion. And it starts right off. They're arresting the mayor of a big town. Oh, no, sorry. That's what happened in the United States a couple of days ago. They're arresting the ambassador from Ghorman. The ISB just arresting them right there in the middle of the Senate. Just before being from Ghorman, basically, or being a Ghor, just getting arrested. It's us today, it will be you tomorrow. Again, why is this so relevant? I don't know. It's
so weird. So on the nose. You know?
It's been happening forever for the history of time.
Yeah. And, it's, again, the camera work, incredible. Because as he's saying that line, it then cuts to Bail Organa. And it's like, again, for the Star Wars nerds, we're like, yeah, actually, like you are the next on the chopping block.
Yeah.
I mean, Bail Organa.
Is that really him? Was he really reintroduced?
Yeah. It's just another Latino. I hate to get too political here, but I was like, I wonder how many people actually can identify Jimmy Smits versus this other actor.
Oh, of course. Like, oh yeah,
And they're just like, oh, a brown guy. Okay, great.
My only thing with this is like, Jimmy Smits, what were you doing that you could not be in Star Wars? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, what were you doing?
If this wasn't the MCU calling or the next Jurassic World, like, it needs to be something on that level. Because if he's in like a A24 indie little whatever film, it's like, come on, man. Like,
no, sorry.
They could have
you should have cameoed in Star Wars instead.
He's in a CBS show, most likely.
Yeah, he's probably doing like CSI Denver.
Oh man,
yeah. Benjamin Bratt, he did a good job.
Oh, he was good.
Yeah.
So we have then that big conversation.
He's a Puerto Rican, but like, sure.
Yeah, well, at least he's Latino. So Bail Organa and Mon Mothma having that conversation. Mothma's like, I'm done. I gotta say something. We can't keep hiding. Like, nothing's gonna be more scary than just all the hiding we've been doing. It's like, I get it. I can't, but I get it. Like, Yawin's not ready. We gotta stall. I gotta stay here. You do what you need to do. You do you, but I gotta stay here and do what I need to do. But then we find out that there's been surveillance all the senators. Freaking Luthen put a plant inside Mon Mothma's office by having her aide have been working with him for the past 2 years. Was like,
yep.
I thought that he was actually an ISB agent when they're looking for the things, and now it's the other way. He's been playing. Yep. He's been with Luthen, which I understand why Mon Mothma was so aggravated by it. But then they have that great conversation, Oti, with Luthen and Mon Mothma. And basically, Mothma saying, I'm more afraid of you than anything else right now because, hey, remember Ty Colma, my friend that you killed because he wanted to meet me and ask for a prize? I'm afraid you're going to kill me if I say the wrong thing. It's like, oh, crap. Like, all this lying for the past 5 years is
getting to everyone.
The paranoia is getting to everyone, yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's appreciate that Luthen does not understand the concept of taking a day off from work. Because when Mothma's like, when did you even recruit him? He's like, oh, at the wedding. So it's like everyone else is getting drunk and just vibing. And he's just like, hey, you looking for a job? Like, you want to shoot down some Imperial people? You want to win.
For you. Stop being a rebel and be a leader.
Yeah.
But it all goes to Cassian. And Luther's like, I'm done with the wigs. I'm going to be out in the open.
Raw dogging it, baby.
No wigs anymore. Middle of the day. So the big thing is Mon Mothma's speech. She goes all in and finally says what she needs to say. We're all waiting for that Rebels cameo to happen. Are they going to retcon Rebels? We'll talk about that in a little bit, but basically I won't go through all of it, but she says the distance between what is said and what is known to be true has become an abyss. Of all the things at risk, the loss of an objective reality is perhaps the most dangerous. The death of truth is the ultimate victory of evil. Well, it's kind of happening right now. And the monster screaming the loudest, the monster we helped create, the monster that will come for us all soon enough.
It's Donald J. Trump.
Emperor J. Palpatine. Before we go into real world,
this channel's gonna get taken down, man. Like,
yeah,
our FBI agents are freaking out right now.
I mean, my internet went down for 2 minutes. I think they're going through stages. Dude, I got chills. I knew she was going to call out Palpatine, but when she said the name, I got some actual chills. I'm like, oh crap, she did it. Called it a genocide twice. Everyone's screaming, no, traitor. It is a freaking genocide. Oh, wait, there's happening one or multiple right now in real world. But
yeah.
Dude, such a great speech. And I understand the people that wanted the rebel speech, which again is still canon because they do say, hey, we need her to do a second speech. But at that point, you had to do something. You need to let the Gilroys deal with their show the way they needed to. And that speech was, I don't want to say better than the Rebels one. It was better because I rewatched it. I don't know. It was just a perfect, not ending, but kind of introduction to that character as the rebel leader, or kind of showing the whole Senate that she's in this path right now and just gonna go do her own thing.
I mean, but also, like, I don't think this changed anything. Like,
Doesn't change a whole nothing about
because,
Rebels
like, in
being canon.
Rebels, she's defecting because she just gave her Senate speech and then she's giving another one. So, like,
Yeah.
And I
so
think
it's up.
Yeah, and I think the other part is like with Star Wars, like it's the blessing and the curse of it, of like it is made and has content at a variety of age levels. So it's like, is the intended audience for Rebels is somewhere in that like preteen to young adult range, in terms of like the intended audience.
Sure.
So it's like, are they really gonna want to dive that deep into what is a genocide, the difference between the truth, what we say is true and what we know to be truth being an abyss? Like, some of those kids will get it, and for others they're like,
that speech would have been super out of place in Rebels.
In Disney XD, you don't think Disney XD could handle that speech?
No, but like, even because Rebels is still about the same thing, but it's another angle of it. And in the story that we're telling for Rebels, like, you could have had the speech and all of us would have been like, oh my god, but still it would have been like, where is this big operatic moment coming in this like cartoon show where
and let's not forget here that like the main character of Rebels is literally an orphan whose parents were killed by the Empire. Like, we've already had the trauma dump side of this show where it's like, this kid is literally an orphan and he's finding his family that just happened to be a small rebel cell out in the galaxy. So it's like, we don't need another like super deep dark moment. And Twilight of the Apprentice is gonna happen at some point in that series. So it's like, there's enough trauma to go around. Like, we don't need every moment to be everything each time in the Star Wars timeline. Like, let it exist as it exists.
Yeah. But it's kind of like, we can stop with the complaining and the every couple of months Twitter battle about how is Star Wars really political? Is it only about wizards and magic? It's like, no, it's in our name. We've been through it from A New Hope, Vietnam War. We all know the connections. And also for Tony Gilroy, that has come out and said like Andor is the most important thing he's ever gonna be able to do. This is his kind of manifesto in terms of, I guess, the way he visualizes what's going on in the world from the past to now is something Audrey mentioned a bunch of times. Like, yeah, it makes sense that we focus on what's happening in the United States right now, how it ties to or connects to what's happening in Andor, but history tends to repeat itself. This is nothing new. We're just unfortunately repeating it in real world, and we're living it in real time, and see how that connects to Star Wars, which is the story that started in 1977, and how this plays out perfectly, connecting to Star Wars, and then, of course, unfortunately connecting to the real world, which is hard to aggravating, I guess, to kind of watch that on the television show that we want to just have fun with. And then, oh crap, as soon as I wake up and turn on the news, this might happen. Like we just mentioned, it just happened to the mayor of Newark being arrested for protesting an ice facility that came online without proper vetting, or it wasn't.
Yeah, like it's actually illegal to operate those private facilities in New Jersey. So he was doing his job as a mayor of like, well, I have to see if there's any kind of legal basis for this facility to be operating, and they let him in. And then, I mean, literally the Ghorman setup, like, there's like, yeah, sure, come take a tour of the facility. And the moment he showed up, they're like, oh, he's protesting, arrest him. And that's it. Like a fully vetted elected official. I also like love seeing how quickly everything escalates. Like, this whole episode is showing us that, like, okay, once you give the speech, you have to go Mon Mothma, right? You're no longer a senator. You got to get out of that mindset. And it is like in the lobby like that room that has the Senate feed and stuff.
Yeah.
For my day job as a lobbyist, we have a similar room that is literally a lobby outside of the Senate floor or the House floor, and it has TV screens, and you get to see the feed and what people are debating. So like having that moment where like she gets off the floor, immediately shows up in the lobby, and like blasters are coming out.
Yeah.
Like, Andor shoots someone. He's like asking everyone else, the one guy who's not corrupted on Bale's team is just like, oh, let me join the fight. And Andor's like, if you take one more step towards me, I promise you it'll be the last thing you do. And yeah, like they just have to, like, you can see the shock in Mon Mothma's like face and Genevieve O'Reilly's acting of, hey, I was a senator. Like, we don't, the scariest thing for me is a dinner next to Sly Moore, but like now, or like my daughter getting married, and now like people are just dying left and right, and Andor's like, we don't have time for this. Like, cry later, freak out later, but like take my hand, take this jacket, and we got to go.
Yeah, it was a great setup when Cassian's meeting with Clay, and she's kind of telling him what he needs to, like, hey, I'm done. After this, I'm done. And she's like, what do you mean done? Tell the senator that's about to risk her life that you're done because it's too inconvenient.
Yeah. Hey, I thought
Like,
we
no,
were
I
just
just want-
signing petitions here, okay? Like, I'm out of here.
I just want to make my own decisions. And I thought that's what we're fighting for, to be able to make our own decisions. Oh, crap, you threw it in my face, and you're right. But that whole thing, and of course, when they said, oh, Bail Organa has a team coming that's going to take you to Yavin, I'm like, is that the rebel group? Are we actually going to see them? Every time they said, and then later, oh, there's a freighter that's going to take them. Oh, the rebels are going to show up, but we're going to see the ghost.
Just live action Zeb walking
Freddie
around
Prinze
Coruscant.
hanging out.
Carabas.
But every time they, it was Cassian passing as a reporter, he's floating, like you mentioned. And that scene when he picks her up after her speech and he finally says, hey, I have friends everywhere. And she kind of understands, okay, the only chance is to go with him. And then gets confronted by this other lady coming up. Hey, no, the senator has someplace to be. Who are you? And then she pulls out the gun. Like, oh, crap, things are going to go down. And Erskine coming to save the day. She's a rebel spy. Giving Cassian
Good
that
catch,
little...
Erskine.
Yeah. But like you say, I love Jennifer Riley's reaction to that murder right there on the Senate floor on the little outside. And then when he kills her driver later, it's like the first time that she actually saw someone being killed right in front of her. I love her reaction. Her timing as an actress was great.
Well,
But
actually, if you read the book, she killed someone.
Well, I was going to go into that, but I won't keep spoiling Reign of the Empire. When she murders... I don't know who that person was going to murder that she ended up murdering before he murdered. I won't say. I won't spoil it for you. I know you're going to read it at some point.
I will.
Yeah.
And then we get again the great draw when she goes, I don't know if I can do this. Well, welcome to the rebellion. Unfortunately, you're part of this. Another great line that came out of nowhere. And now we got a little history for this line to add to it. Poor driver, he's been sitting in his car for 20 hours waiting for Mon Mothma to come out of the Senate. Can't even go to the bathroom. This gets murdered right on top of the steps.
Yeah. And, like, I do wonder how Mon Mothma felt, because Andor very quickly asks, he asks, who is he? She's like, oh, my driver.
Oh,
and he's like, can we trust him? And she says, no, he's an ISB plane. He's like, oh, okay. Boom.
He's
like,
dead now.
He's like, not a problem anymore. And it's like, I wonder how quickly Mon Mothma's brain went from like, well, I can tell Andor anything to like, oh, I really got to watch myself. Like, he could just murder anyone. Like, could you imagine if that was Perrin and she's just like, can I trust him? Sort of, kind of.
He's my husband, but
are we saying Perrin again? He's gone.
He's with B2 Emo somewhere.
He's also over there. Well, so
Perrin's like, my wife is Antifa? Like, what? He's just losing his mind.
They made it
My
to the
wife
safe
started
house.
a coup and left me in the Capitol.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
Cooking.
they don't have cool dinners on Yavin, so Perrin's like, it's probably for the best. Like, I'll sit here and sip my champagne.
He'll hang out with what's
Scaldon?
no, Poe's father's name.
Kez.
Kez.
It was-
Kez.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're gonna hang out and go for beers every day. I'm dying to know what happened to Perrin, like, and if we're gonna find out.
I mean,
I
that's
hope
gotta
we
be
like it.
that's gotta be like, Housewives of Chandrilla, kind of like levels of parody.
I low-key hope he's in Yavin, but being a bitch about it. Like, I agree.
Complaining about the heat and
The
humidity.
humidity, like, oh my god,
like,
and the mosquitoes.
What I would
This
give
clothes,
for
I
an
can't
air
wear my
conditioner.
kimono.
I used
Alright,
to live in
so-
a penthouse.
Let's finish up. They made it to a safe house. Andor gets told, sorry, you won't be, in the eyes of everyone else, you won't be the hero. She will come in with a special Yavin escort. Yellow 5 or whatever are bringing them in, bring her in. They need her to make another speech to reach more people out there. But here it goes back to Yavin, and the big thing is conversation with Biggs when he's like, okay, I'm done. We'll find somewhere to be. There's still places that we can go out. And she basically choosing the rebellion over him, knowing that he has more to give, that people will follow him, believing what the cook told them a couple of days ago, kind of walking out and leaving him behind. Just she's choosing the rebellion, which she said. And I've seen both sides, people really agreeing with that great sacrifice that she did, and other people saying, why do we get another female character kind of doing something so the male character can move forward? Watching the show, I understood her decision, and kind of, again, the acting between those characters, and then Cassian just running through the jungle trying to get her before she leaves. Yeah, maybe that's what pushes him to keep going forward, but I feel bad. But this is when Biggs now is a B2 emo in Mina Rao just hanging out.
Yep.
I'll find you when everything is done, and unfortunately we know that won't happen.
Yeah.
Oh, can you imagine we flash forward until Return of the Jedi and Biggs is like, my Cassian, where are you?
Oh no, I'm not. No, now, great. I just know there's like a Star Wars author somewhere in the galaxy, just like, yes, perfect. Like
The
my time
B2
has
emo
come.
and Biggs finding Andor adventure.
Oh yeah, which just ends with them at like Mon Mothma's like doorstep, and she's just like,
Oh no, he
that guy.
died.
Oh, please.
He died like 15 years ago.
The first Death Star, we didn't even know that existed when he died. Like
Back when
please.
they were mining accidents. Like,
Yeah.
Oh man.
But no,
But-
I do wonder, like, was there a better way for Bix to step out? Or, for me, I think the thing that I struggled with when I got to the end of that arc and the end of episode 9 was when you got to the end of episode, what is it, 6? And Bix actually kills Dr. Gorst.
Mhm.
You're kind of like put in this mode of like, okay, she's in the rebellion now,
Yeah.
right? Like she's not scared of anything. She's willing to go on these jobs. Like Luthen knows she's capable. So part of me was like hoping that, like maybe something happens on Ghorman and like, now Andor's motivation to finish this fight is that like he's going to make him pay for Marva and for Bix and for Brasso. Like, like there's
and B2 emo.
yeah and
Especially.
that's also not a great solution, right? Because it's like,
Mhm.
again, like a woman having to die for a man to like find motivation and all that jazz. But like, yeah, I don't know, the just running away part, it feels very
I'm glad she's not dead.
yeah.
Yes.
I'm glad she's not dead, I will say that, because it could have been a lot worse.
For now.
That's
Just 3
true.
more episodes. We don't know.
No,
But yeah,
I don't.
but-
I hope she doesn't show up yet.
No, I guess
Yeah.
I think we're done seeing her.
Yeah, I hope that's
Maybe
it.
we get a flash forward at some point just to see where she's at. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe just like, man, could you imagine if she's like on a planet somewhere and hears the transmission that the Empire's like, oh, rebel terrorists have blown up the Death Star, and she's like, that's my man's,
yeah,
and like walks back off into the crowd or something like that. But
Yeah.
and they pulls back and she's on Alderaan, and then we start crying again.
oh god. Oh no.
All right, Melch is back. I was wondering where Melch is. So he's there with his blaster, which I guess is the one he got at the end of season 1. So we got
Oh
a little
no,
bit
she was
more.
there.
Yeah,
Well,
that's the blaster that
Alberto,
well,
I don't
Mel-
remember anyone.
I can. Oh, I'm the
Every
one
time
that-
I join, every time I join the show and see, I'm like, oh, that guy.
Melchi. Come on, the great Melchi survived Narkina 5, dies in Rogue One.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she's the blaster. He's there.
People
Vale is
have
doing
to know
recruit.
what happened on Narkina. I was like, yeah, Melshi, go write a book about it, man.
But then K2, they turn K2 on.
Mhm.
Cool scene. I like that one. That's when we meet him. I would prefer you don't point that thing at me if I didn't offend you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it ended. I know everyone loved episode 8. I think I love episode 9 more. I love that tension in 9 trying to get
You
Mothma out of it.
contrarian. Episode 8 was phenomenal, sensational, inspiring.
Well,
Yeah,
at least I
I'm
wrote
with
down the
Alberto
name of
on
the
it.
characters.
I'm with Alberto. Like, yeah, episode 8. I think the thing about episode 8 is there's a lot of shock because once you realize that, like, oh, okay, we are going to see the massacre. This is what's going to go down, and the way that they don't shy away from it just makes it like, oh, you're like literally the Gilroys are like holding your head and are like, no, you're
Look
going
at
to
it.
watch this. But 9 is just so like, it's so good because we are seeing the revolution like starting to spill out where like you can't be a senator and minding your business and thinking it's going to be okay, right? Like stormtroopers are in the building, ISB agents are pulling out guns inside the building. The ISB is tapping every single senator's room, so like that the moment one of them even has a notion in their office of like, are we the baddies? Like they're gonna get disappeared the next morning.
Yep.
And it's kind of intense to see, or like it's intense and it's funny to see someone as dirty and as rough as Andor, because they're very clear that like this is the morning after the massacre, so Andor smells like trash. Like that man has not slept. He's been on a ship. He's been at the massacre. Like he smells like gunpowder and like whatever, and like sleep. He probably still has like those eye boogers from the morning. And then he's next to senators and all these people who like for a living have to dress up, and Erskine's got the comb over and the gel, and it's like that visual is so stunning to me that I think that's what I like stick with.
All right, so let's finish up talking real quick as we've gone over our time. But for the finale now, these next 3 episodes, I think you asked Oti, what's going to happen with Dedra? What's going to happen with her? I think Buck put something in the chat that I agree with. There's a picture out there, I think maybe for the trailers or something, that she makes it to Luthen's art gallery. So they'll meet. I don't know if they're going to go at it, if she kind of figures out what's happening on Jeddah, because we know Saw Gerrera is on Jeddah at this point. Maybe she figures out and say, I can't go through this again, and she's the one that turns.
If she goes there and he's there, he deserves to be arrested. Like, it's been a year. Why are you still in Coruscant?
Something's gonna happen with the two of them, because he's the one that she's been trying to find since the beginning. So it's gonna be great. Then I'm gonna show this. I didn't delete this, but maybe. So one thing that we mentioned is how this connects to Rogue One, and I think this is how. And we have Cleia here, if I can. There we go. Cleia meeting with someone. In the trailer, she's the one that says it's a weapon. They're building a weapon.
Oh, that's Cleia. Holy shit.
Yes. I think she's meeting here with Tivik from Rogue One that Andor's going to kill. I think she's the one that tells Tivik that they're building a weapon and tells him, hey, go to Kafrene and meet with Andor to tell him what's going on. And something happened and Andor ends up killing him. I think that's how you connect Andor to Rogue One, is through Cleia finding out what the Death Star project actually is. That's my big theory for next week.
I like it.
That's a good one.
All right. That's it. That's all I got.
That's a great one. Don't downplay it.
Yeah. Sometimes I try and then they usually don't work out, but I think that's gonna happen. So finally with Saw, then we know that Saw is gonna be on Jeddah. Do we see him meeting with Bodhi? Not Bodhi, but do we see him talking with Galen? Do we see Galen giving Bodhi his message to Jean? Are we seeing any of that? It would be great to see something again to build this connection to Rogue One.
I think we're gonna get Galen.
Yeah, I hope.
Because I still linger on, why were you in Celebration in the stage taking an interview? and being ominous about whether you were coming back or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I could also see it because one, we get in the very first arc of season 2, we have Andor in the Imperial test pilot uniform, and he's trying to convince the Maya Pay Brigade to like, please don't kill me. I'm on your side. And Bodhi Rook, right, is on Jeddah, and he's trying to tell Saw and them like, if you look past the uniform, we're on the same side. So like, I think that would be a neat tie-in to have Galen be like, hey man, I'm going to give you this message and you have to get it to Saw Gerrera, because Bodhi is inspired in Rogue One. He's trying to tell Saw, like, please don't kill me. And then he also seems to imply that, like, he's had some level of relationship with Galen, that, like, he's the one who gave him the confidence to go and do this.
Yeah. All right. So hopefully we get him. So great arc. Brings an end to our episode today. Thank you, Andres, for joining us. Thank you, Otis, survived through your sickness and your fate gun that will get not demonetized, because we don't make any money here on YouTube, but your fake.
It's a USB-C adapter, you prudes.
Unlimited power.
Unlimited power. It's a mining accident. Something happens. Is it calcite? Deep substrate calcite out there. All right, Andres, where can people find you on the interwebs?
Yes, I'm on Blue Sky at sithtyminutes.bsky.social, and then also Sithty Minutes wherever you can find podcasts, and Sithty_minutes on Twitch. I'm actually coming back next week, so I'll be doing some Fortnite Star Wars streaming.
Oh,
hooray!
Yeah, though. My son got back into Fortnite. He's playing the Star Wars. But,
it's the only time I play. It's like my New Year's.
All right. Well, thank you to everyone that was in the chat. Bug, Dale, I've heard our new friend that joined us earlier. And
Darth Raccoon.
Thanks for being here. We'll be back next week for the season 2 finale with our friend Maggie Lovett. Will be joining us. That's going to be a good one. So stay safe. Be safe. May the force be with you. And remember.